But speaking of LGNs, this was big fucking news, and I love that we're finding out this stuff over 40 years later.
God, you're right. That's wild.
We've talked about this many times on the podcast. I have the prototype. We even modeled our Sgt Slaughter big rubber guy after the prototype. But Bill Stanhope, he shared his original never-before-seen image of Sgt Slaughter. Check this out, guys. Look at this. It's the original advertisement that was never seen anywhere.
How is this image so crisp?
Because he has the real image and he scanned it.
And he just never shared it?
First of all, he must have just found it.
Oh.
Andre the Giant, Jimmy Snuka, Hogan, Sgt Slaughter, Big John Studd. So, like...
That image is so clean, you can tell those are all hand-painted protos.
Yep.
And this is our first time ever seeing what Sarge Deco was supposed to be.
Right. So it's funny enough. So we guessed for our big rubber guy, and we were completely wrong. But our repaint is actually similar by coincidence.
Right.
Because we were going down like all these different files. Like, what would he have been in this time period? And we guessed wrong. But this looks incredible. Now, this really brings up a whole. D, I don't know if you want to join in. I don't know how knowledgeable you are about this Sarge. We really
looking
deep
at
dive
ours.
on this.
Ours has red wrist tape instead of blue.
Yeah.
That might be the only real difference.
Freedom Labs, please hold.
You maggot.
Good morning, Mr. Freedom.
Well, it could be a different evening. If people are listening.
Could be the middle of the night.
This is evergreen content for folks at home.
Good afternoon.
D, what was your first thought when this popped up 40 years later?
It had to have been out there, so thankfully it was still a tangible thing that it was still in someone's possession. So, yeah, because it made it far. It made it far. It just
Well, it didn't. I had no idea it made it this far.
Oh yeah, it definitely did. I mean,
how did you know? D, you didn't know it made this far because you were the one who suggested the other gear colors. You didn't know.
Well, I didn't know that it was going to be in this particular outfit, but I at least knew that it advanced to the paint model stage.
How'd you know that?
How'd you know that, D?
Because this was cut very last minute, because they slotted in a pre-existing Iron Sheik for 85 into this particular slot, as this other slide mentions.
Right.
That's hilarious.
So good.
Cross Iron Sheik.
So,
Iron Sheik, that says, by the way.
There's a couple interesting things about this. So, like, for instance, my resin prototype, which a few other people have, the hand, and kind of like how our big rubber guy is, the hand is almost waving and not quite doing a salute. I can't speak to why exactly that is. There is out there. Somebody does have. Remember, because these were supposed to be giant bendies.
They
right?
weren't supposed to be giant. They were supposed to be scaled down. That was a 2-up.
Right.
And that's what I guess yours does not bend. But so I can give you the backstory. I can give you the whole rundown, down.
Let's hear it, and I will.
We know it became too expensive, right?
Well, no. So how this surfaced and what Matt has, I'll get into it. So in early 2013, through her, it was called Panacea Creations eBay store, former LGN Toys subcontracted model maker Mary Butcher produced and sold resin casts and hand-painted customs of LGN Toys' WWF Wrestling Superstars Sgt Slaughter. At the time, she likely still had in her possession the original polysiloxane molds she created in 1984 for the 2-up prototype of the originally intended 4.5-inch bendable WWF Wrestling Superstars figure. Following her passing, her brother Dale took over the store's operations. When LGN Toys' Wrestling Superstars Sgt Slaughter was in development, Remus had not yet been approached by Hasbro. His white singlet and blue tights with red side stripe bearing USA, not bearing USA. This was the this is the USA version of it. Were worn from August 1980 through October 1984. His Cobra Corp tights debuted in March of 1984, following his babyface turn. So this is face turn. Sgt Slaughter, but he had been wearing this gear for 4 years prior, just without the Cobra Core written across the tights. And the other side has not been revealed of this. This is just showing technically that Cobra should be on the other leg, similar to how ours is. So maybe it had Cobra written across both legs, because obviously they had limited reference at this time, and they were churning these out because the deal was made in early '84, and these were out by December of that year. And Sarge, as I see here, so the so-called hand-painted prototype of the 1984 LJN Toys' wrestling superstar Sgt Slaughter figure, now owned, and I believe still in his possession, Fightful owner Jimmy Van, is in fact a custom. Its design is based on Slaughter's fall 1985 AWA USA gear, created just a few months before the announcement of his inclusion in Hasbro's G.I. Joe franchise through their 1986 G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero 3.5-inch toy line via mail order.
Let me pause you right there for a second. Let me pause you there for a second. So we've mentioned this before. So there's a hand-painted Slaughter out there. There it is right there. And I've said that there's no way that was painted at the time because it's in gear that he wore after the fact in G.I. Joe. So we always kind of knew that this was like a hand-painted after the fact.
Pretty good detective work.
Right. So we've known this for a few years now. But there's also out there,
I guess I never really thought about it that way, but yeah, wow,
someone does have the rubber Slaughter prototype where he's doing where he's able to do the correct salute. Do we have a photo of that?
I do not have that one, but it's basically just like yours, just bendable.
Right, and it's bendable, so his hand is more in the salute position.
And that's why it was so. Yours is technically authentic from the mold, but this is not an original one from 1984.
Well, do you know that for sure, or you're just speculating that?
I'm speculating, and that's a very highly educated.
Well, right, but you just said something as fact without knowing for sure, D. You know what I'm saying? You just speculated.
How could it not be from? They're all from 1984.
Well, no, she still had the original molds in her possession, and that's where that hand-painted custom came from. And either she or another model maker painted it, and that's why it doesn't have the USA text, because it would have been easily detectable as a custom. And so obviously they did proper masking because they're model makers. But the skin tone is completely off from the previous from other samples out there of other hand painted prototypes. And the mold color, like the polyurethane resin, is not the same shade as other ones that were produced at that time. So this is done in like a off-white, whereas the ones at the time were more in a copper brown or tortilla brown. It did vary, but yeah, a lot of these prototypes just all of a sudden just surfaced in the early 2010s, and it's like, oh, where were these? Where were these all along? So,
well, I mean, people didn't value these.
People we just found this photo 41 years later.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So this is our big rubber guy that just coincidentally is quite similar.
Man, yeah, damn.
In gear. So great job by D. Because D was the guy who decided what gear we were going to do for both, and he pretty much almost nailed this one.
Wow.
It was two options. I mean, technically, the gun belt it's different to associate it from the other one, but technically he only wore one color gun belt. So like the pistol belt is what it's referred to as, but the pistol belt on the hand painted prototype, obviously working with limited reference, but also just trying to make it more toyetic. They made it the same red, and same with the wristbands. He may have worn blue wristbands at the time, but primarily was worn with the red.
Yeah, just very, very fascinating. So it's, again, all this is speculation, but the only things we do know for sure is that Bill Stanhope posted the photo, and we know it was definitely supposed to come out. So now this is the first concrete proof. You know, we always guess.
That's also true, right? We've never seen anything like that.
Well, I've had, lineups that were from LJN, like internal lineups. We have the prototypes, obviously, but this is the first, hand-painted sample where it's like, oh, my God. And I just love it. 41 years later, it's just, man.
I can't believe how much better that looks with the real salute.
Right?
Yeah.
Look, so I've seen some speculation now, like that the molds, because nobody can really explain why ours and the other ones out there, the hard ones, the hand is placed differently.
Well, because that was the bendable. Like if you look at the other molds of the other bendable figures, that was how it was originally going to be intended. But obviously, this is the pose that was going. So it wasn't molded that way. But when it came time to make the cast, when it was switched over after the buyers decided that they wanted the 8-inch version, the 2-up version, then that it got revised later on. So there is another. So I don't know if those molds are still available. Maybe those have disappeared. But the molds that were still in Mary Butcher's possession, now in Dale Butcher's possession, unless those got sold off to a private collector, those are the ones that yours was cast from, and as well as the prototype, so-called prototype custom. So, yeah, and then also about the glasses as well. So the ones that were featured on this particular photo are not the same ones that are on Matt's and as well as other ones, but they are shaped similar. These are not taken exactly from that, but maybe they were from that existing mold, or at least the existing resin mold. So these
for the listeners, this is LJN Michael Jackson.
Yes, released in 1984.
Right?
Yes, marketed. It's a girls' brand item. So this was marketed in 1984. So when this was being developed, these were both being developed at the same time. So these do appear to be the same glasses. There is no back images of this. Probably non-existing. It's probably been demolished. Whatever. The paint master for the Sgt Slaughter, but it does have a band in the back on the final product of that Michael Jackson. But that is a 12-inch or 11.5-inch scale, whereas this Sgt Slaughter would have been 8-inch. So they would have had to have sized it down. And the glasses were also reused once again for the V alien, masked alien figure that also came out in late '84. So yeah.
So now this is where I'm confused, because then my glasses don't match.
Yes. Mine
are like from the front look the same, but don't have that back piece.
They don't. Well, I don't know the back piece. I'm not sure if that was a separate mold and that was attached on final, but I don't know if, in terms of the paint master format, if that was included there. But the temple placement is the exact. The rim is exact, and it even has the bridge sculpting line as well on there. But the one on Matt's, as well as the other people that own the 2013 castings, those ones are. Those ones do not have that ridging, and the temples are thicker as well. The temples are thicker and they're higher up. So I don't know if those were from another existing mold, like the previous one, like to where before it got refined, but it's missing that sculpted detail, or maybe that detail was not preserved and try to make a copy off of the Michael Jackson ones or something. Because
I always thought they were the Michael Jackson ones, because that's what I've been told. When you do a quick Google search, they kind of match up. But when you deep dive like you did, D, you see that they don't match up, unless there's other Michael Jackson ones that we don't know about.
No, they're the ones that were used across. I think there was like at least like 5 different Michael Jackson dolls that all came with the sunglasses, or like two of the 5, 2 of the 6. I can't remember exactly how many there were, but it looks like the original intention was to use those glasses, but obviously a scaled down version of it, because the temples are in the same placement, the rims and the bridge all same sculpt and same frame shape as well. So
very, very fascinating. Just wild stuff. And
yeah, like you said, 41-year-old news that surfaced.
And that figure could be destroyed somewhere. It could be in someone's basement somewhere. Like, who knows?
Could be in a detoff with a light shining on it. Like
someone could have.
Doesn't want anyone to know.
Yeah. But man, people ask me all the time, and I think it's one of my questions coming up, like, what is your holy grail? Like, this might be one of them.
Ooh.
You know? But who knows if this even exists? Because back in the day, this stuff wasn't meant to exist. They weren't eBay, people stealing these things, put them on eBay. They were just getting destroyed. But it's 41 years later. It's such a clear photo too.
That part's blowing my mind. How that's not like a grainy, like where we're not just like.
Well, the fact that he has the original, he has the original, film. So
yeah. Unbelievable stuff here. Great work, D, with the detective work. Detective D. Great job. And Bill Stanhope for sharing this. Have we ever had Bill on the pod? I feel like we might have had him on.
Yeah, I think you did a special interview that's probably available on across podcast streaming platforms, at least audio. So
yeah. Damn. Very, very cool. Join the community at MajorMarks.com and get access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes footage, and become a member of the Major family.
You get bonus episodes on our careers, wrestling figure history, and exclusive interviews with our friends and legends in the business each month.
You also get early access to YouTube videos and, of course, the weekly podcast ad-free and breaking news updates.
Brand new shows featuring
oh, baby.
And you. Each month, you can interview someone in the wrestling business with the Captain's Log.
Also, buy, sell, and trade in our exclusive Facebook community where people have become friends in real life.
Certain memberships include merch like monthly trading cards and quarterly mystery gifts.
Become a Major Mark and join MajorMarks.com today.